Hi, here's a video I want you to watch before you start the final tests for your course. You're going to find the test in an interface that's very similar to this. You should be pretty familiar with this. Go to quizzes and tests, and it lists this and lets me click on whatever's available. So we're going to have a test here that's going to be a final, and you're going to see this typical startup for the final test. And it's going to say you've started this test 1 time, so you're going to have one attempt at this test. And I'll talk about what that means here in a little bit too, again, probably a couple times. It says once you started, do not click back or refresh buttons on your browser. Use the assignment window navigation instead. You should be, again, pretty familiar with that. Now, this final is going to be an open book, open computer, open for multiple days. So if you run into a problem or just some suggestions about how to take the exam, I wouldn't spend 4 hours straight working on this exam. I would, do some plan your time and make sure you're well rested and do this. And there's going to be over 60 questions, and so it is going to take some time. But this test will open at the beginning of finals, and when the end of your final test time occurs, um, that'll be the end of the final. So let's start this sample test here. So I'm ready. I'm going to say I'm ready to start, and I'm going to go through um, the test. Now, since this can stay open, where normally when we've been taking tests, it's been one session. You Once you complete it, you submit the test. This button right here. But I want to remind you that once you click this button, submit the test, it's over. You only get one attempt to do this. Now, you can do this in multiple sessions, though. What you do is do not submit the test until you're absolutely sure you have the questions answered the way you want them to. So if I do some stuff like in these problems here, like combine like terms, I get 6y minus 11y, I'm going to get a negative 5y plus 4. And either I go next question or I can click here. And notice that this dark circle occurs around the 1 compared to the rest here now. Let's say I skip 2 and I go to question 4, and I simplify this one and I get negative 7. And I could go next question. Notice that 1 and 4 have dark circles around them. That means you have an answer in those questions. And why I'm pointing this out, though you've probably noticed this in other tests, is I have, I can go back, make sure that if you have a question with no answer in it, make sure you go back to that and do that. But let's say I've been working on this an hour, I'm getting tired, or something's coming up, there's some distractions going on and you want to take a break. Or you've hit a couple questions you're not sure of and you want to just take some time to read, take the pressure off, or go take a walk or whatever. I do not submit this test. I can just close this test and like so, and it's going to say, hey, you're currently taking tests, you sure want to leave this page. Go ahead and leave this page, because I'll have the test set up so when I come back to this, I could even have the computer reboot and re-log in to MyMathLabs, and when I come back here, it'll ask me again, you've started this test, I'm ready to start, and it'll allow me to go back in. And notice that questions 1 and 4 still have the answers you put in there. Okay? So by closing the test that way, you're not losing any of your existing answers that you have in here. So don't be afraid to close the window. Even if you lose, in a way, the real reason this is really set up this way, in case your computer goes down during a test, you can come back and get logged in and get back into the test. So why I'm making this video is to make sure that go through all the questions as many times as you'd like. Go back and see, did I really get number 4 the way I want it? You could go through all the questions doing this, and then when you're sure that you want to finish this test or hand this in, this is like putting your name on it and handing it in. Once you hand it in, you can't get your test back. Then I would submit this test. Okay? And that's all I really wanted to talk about, is to make sure that we don't have some bad submits, because I'm not going to be probably available while you're doing this, so make sure that you don't do this until you're ready. And then if you don't finish the test and it gets to the time limit on your, not the time limit, but the due date and time of the test, it'll just finish, and I can see what you've done. So if you were working right down to the deadline and you had one question left, it'll take the other. It'll just end the test and you'll have one question not answered. So this is a little bit different than we've done all year, so I wanted to make this video to make sure. So don't submit this test until you're absolutely done with the test. Like I said, you can do this for multiple days, open book, open computer. You can look at your My Math Labs, look at examples, your prior assignments. You can even bring out Khan Academy, whatever ways you think that you're going to get the information you need to answer these questions. Please do. And go through these as best you can, take the time you need, and take advantage of this open book, open computer, a multiple session tests that we're taking for the final. Thanks.